Today I'm working again in this giant glue book that I started and made it out of a calendar, which hung this way, of course. I kept it because I loved the pictures because there's lots of pretty ones, but then I decided to turn it sideways and make it into a glue book. So I've been working away at the pages and having so much fun. But before I get started, I just wanted to mention something. I was reading in Julia Cameron's The Artist Way earlier this week, a chapter on abundance and luxury and what they mean to you. And I thought that's a really interesting topic. I thought I would like to explore it a little bit. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about that while I work away at this beautiful glue book. But one thing that was mentioned in the book was there was a woman she talked about whose idea of luxury was being able to buy fresh raspberries. Now you might think, raspberries? But it's all about your thoughts about luxury and what it means to you. So let's get started on the glue book and we'll talk a little bit more. Just to catch you up, if you haven't been following along on my videos, and I mean really, why not? But just saying, this is what I did in my last video, and I've been filling this. It's an old calendar from a few years ago that I stuck in a drawer just because I like the pictures. And then I had this idea to turn it into a glue book. And I might, oh, wait a minute, because I've cut out a lot of pictures from magazines and they're so big that I don't want to cut them apart into little bits because I love the whole effect. And so I thought, oh, I know, I'll just make it into a glue book. So I turned it sideways and that's what I've been doing. And if you want to catch up on it, I've got videos on all the pages. So the last one I did was this side, and I'm starting with, again, a piece of scrapbook paper that is in a pad I bought, I think, at Michael's. And because I don't want to cover the whole page. Like quite often I've covered the whole page with pictures, but I decided I wanted to make them a little bit roomier and have some bigger pages, have bigger pictures and whatnot, and do a little more decoration like with this. So I decided to make a few pages like this. So the last one I did was in this same kind of idea because I love this big page, and part of it is because I have a magazine. I used to subscribe to a French magazine that has beautiful pictures, and it's a big format magazine. So I didn't want to waste that. So I'm going to continue with this, and this layout is a beach theme. So as I mentioned in my introduction, I'm going to talk a little bit about luxury and abundance and what that means and what it looks like. So here's another sheet from the pad of paper that I got at Michael's, and I'm going to put it down. The blue is a little bit different, but I also pulled out some other pictures. This isn't all of them, but it's a start. And I'm going to just get this down first, and then I want to decorate a little bit with this tape, and we'll go from there. So like I mentioned in my introduction, I read this thing in Julia Cameron's The Artist Way a little while ago about abundance, and she went on to talk about some other stuff which I didn't really apply to me. But when she talked about luxury, I thought, now there's a word that a lot of us kind of shy away from, maybe, or have some kind of reaction to, because sometimes it just seems like real luxury is totally out of reach. And I felt like that myself sometimes. But I thought, you know, I actually started journaling a little bit on it and realizing that some of the things that I actually consider luxurious, I already have in my life. But I never really thought of them that way. So I thought, you know what? It's really worth thinking about what abundance and luxury really mean to me, and maybe and to you as well. What does it mean to feel abundant? And it is a feeling. It's not just a measurement. It's a feeling when you feel like life is luxurious. So it got me thinking, and I thought, well, there's different things that mean abundance to different people, right? For example, abundance could mean an abundance of time. And I know that lots of people feel like that's lacking in life because they have you might have lots of demands on your time or whatever. And if you could only get time to do either what you really want to do, or to relax, or to get enough sleep, or to read, or to work on a hobby or whatever, that might feel like luxury to you. Who knows? It really depends. And it's worth kind of thinking about that. Would it be that for you? I'm going to put this tape along here. I think I'm also going to put it down the center because it depends how long it lasts here. I'm starting to use quite a bit of it. But if you've stayed in hotels over and over and over again, even high-end hotels, because of work or whatever, that might not mean a thing to you. It's all about your perspective, right? Like, I used to work for a hotel chain, so I stayed in hotels a lot because I traveled for my job. It wasn't a high-end hotel chain or anything, but I traveled for my job and I liked it. And I love staying in hotels. When my children were little, we used to camp, and we had a Volkswagen camper van, and we thought that was pretty hot stuff at the time. Kids loved it. It beat sleeping in a tent in the rain or the cold or whatever. That step up felt quite luxurious. But if I had to go back to that now, I would not feel the same way, because my life has changed and my ideas of what abundance and luxury is like has changed. So, it's different now. Now I've got my outline. The blue and green are not fantastic together, but they're okay. All right. Okay. I love this picture, and to me this looks luxurious because it's almost, well, it's one of those fancy things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. Like, you'd have to go buy this curtain material or bolt of fabric or whatever, hem it, hang it, this little cot with the fancy thing, which is obviously covered in fabric, and then it's out on the beach. It looks like it's hanging from a palm tree or something. To me, this is just luxurious because it would require some doing to make it happen. And I'm not sure why that says that to me, but I love it because the idea of just lying out there and having this lovely curtain sort of wafting around me just seems so luxurious. So I'm going to just keep with that. I am going to cut it off though, so that it's kind of even. So I'm going to cut it right there. I'm also going to turn on my fan because it's another hot day, and I turned off my air conditioner because even though I try to remove the background noise when I edit, I get that whooshing sound all the time, and it's kind of distracting. Somebody told me they kind of liked the whooshing sound because it reminded them of the sea, but I'm not sure I feel the same way, so that's okay. Now this has a lot of words on it that I don't necessarily want, but I think I'm going to find a way to cover it up without covering too much of the picture up, and I'm not quite sure how yet. I just cut out these three. And I don't even know how I'm going to make them fit, to be honest. I don't think I can. So I might have to put something different in there. Or I think I might cut this off too. There's just too much green there that's unnecessary. So the other thing about luxury I thought of is money, of course, because, if you look at something like a luxury car or a luxury home, and you, how can you not think, wow, that might have taken a lot of money? And, that's not wrong, because those things do. But if you don't value that, what difference does it make? So for example, if somebody offered me a Maserati, which sounds fancy and it's one of those rich people cars, I would probably take it and sell it because I have no desire to have a Maserati. To me, it hasn't got that great a value for me to own. And I'm going to get to why in a few minutes. But as far as money goes, if you know what you value, you can actually just use the money you have to put toward it. So I mentioned the lady who thought having raspberries in season or out was a luxury. Well, raspberries only cost a few dollars. in raspberry season, and actually I live in an area where a lot of raspberries are grown just like 20 minutes away. So we can get, when it's raspberry season, we get fresh raspberries that are just like straight from the field, more or less. And I love raspberries. This week I've been eating cherries because it's cherry season, and they're the best cherries in the world, I think, grown here in BC, in British Columbia, in the Okanagan. So is that luxury? Of course it is. What did it cost? Oh, $7 for a big bunch of cherries. Now I have this one, which seems luxurious to just float around in a boat, kicking your feet in the water. And I have this one, which is a beautiful setting. I'm just not sure which one I like the most. I could kind of cut that off. Could cut both of it off and still get the impression of the picture without covering up too much of this. Or I could use it down here. I think I'll do that. But I do need something that will cover up this. So with my theme being the beach, or tropical, or waterside, or whatever, I might be able to, too bad these are so, like, they're upright instead of oblong. This one's nice, but again, where am I going to put that? And it kind of is same again there. So I might have to sort through a bunch of pictures to find something that really works. But I think I'm going to cut off a bunch of the dark stuff on here just because I can put it down along the bottom. And like I said, I still get the impression of what the picture's about without that much on the sides. I like this little gate, so I'm keeping it. There we go. So we could talk till midnight about how money is associated with luxury, but I don't think I will, because we all have our own ideas about that. And of course there is a connection with money and luxury, but there doesn't have to be. So that's my point here. Now let me get some more pictures. Okay, wait. Just came across this one. Speaking of beaches. I don't think there's anything there for me, but I could cut this one and make it skinny like that. Okay, I'm going to try that. Another thought I had was, you can express your sense of luxury in a very small space. For example, I have a small house, but I have a chandelier in my dining room. It's not big and fancy, but it's one of those that looks like a French one. And I have a special place in my heart for France because I used to live there. And so when I came across this chandelier, I've wanted one for some time. And then we happened to be in a store that had them, and it kind of went, let's get it now, you know. So my husband installed it, which is lovely. I've got to measure this, otherwise I might end up with. Okay, let's go with just about here. So to me, that's something luxurious, even though it didn't really cost that much. In fact, it didn't cost anything because it was, we used a gift card from my husband's company to buy it. So there you go. There's something that's luxurious without it costing a lot. Okay, let's see. I think I need to put this here. I'm going to put it down first and see where we get. So if you think about your surroundings, like your home, where it's located, if you're not happy with that, you might want to consider moving. But if you're happy with your home and its location and whatever, what about the things in your home? Do you want to change the furniture? Do you want to add something, you know, like a crystal lamp or something? Does that make you feel like you have luxury in your life? Like we went to the beach a couple of years ago, and I know of this little shop in the town where we like to go. And the year before we'd been there, and they had these lamps that I just loved, but I didn't buy one because I didn't really feel like I had the money for it. So when we went this time, I just went, as we were approaching the town, I said to my husband, before we check in at the hotel, I want to go to that store and see if they still have those lamps. Well, they did. And I promptly bought one. And then when I got to the hotel, I started thinking, and I thought, there was another one there that I really loved as well. But dare I buy another one? I mean, is that extravagant? Is it ridiculous? Is it whatever? And it was in the US, and I'm Canadian, and there's exchange rate we have to add because of the difference in the dollars. So what's $100 for you if you live in the States is about $135 in Canadian dollars because of the exchange rate. So while we were at the hotel, I was thinking that other lamp I would love to have as well. And so the next morning I said, I want to go back to the store and look at that other lamp. And I bought it because I could, and because I wanted it, and because it made me happy. And to me, that was luxury. I was spending my holiday dollars, and it was wonderful. And I said to my husband, I bought this lamp for my office. And he said, no, you didn't. You bought it because it makes you happy. And I thought, yeah, I bought it because it makes me happy. Anyway, you can add things to your surroundings, like nice tablecloths and crystal vases, or pottery if that's your thing. Whatever. And have luxury in your daily life without even trying very hard. Okay, I've got these quotes from travel that I put one over here, and I think I would like to put one in here as well, just to sort of pull everything together. So I'm going to flip through this while I'm talking. Another thing that it could qualify as abundance and luxury is choice. It's having choices. So I could say, I have the choice to stay at this hotel or that hotel. I have the choice to buy these shoes or those shoes. I have the choice to buy this mascara or decide whether I care enough to spend that. I have the choice. And to me, that feels abundant, because the less abundance you feel like you have, the fewer choices you feel you have. And you might want to stop and think about that. I had to, but I think it's true. So another thing is the people you hang out with. Do they make you feel rich or poor? Do they make you feel abundant or lacking? Are they always talking about lack? Are they always talking about what you can't have? Are they always talking about how tough life is? Or are they different? Beachcombers. Might use that one. Are they people who uplift you or drag you down? Are they people who feel like life has handed them a bad deal, or the opposite? Do they feel like, are they thankful? Are you thankful? It all sort of comes together. I'm just trying to find one here that I could go up and down with instead of sideways. Oh, we're getting into different places here. Okay, there was a couple here that would work. I think beachcombers would work, and I can put it this way. So I'm going to do that. So let's see if I can tear it out easily or not. I'm just going to carve it out here so that it's easier to get off. And the people that you spend time with make a huge, huge difference to how you feel about how abundant you are. I've mentioned before, I live in quite a small home, but I've made it as beautiful as I could because the size isn't really the issue. Okay, that's too big. So I'm going to cut some of that off. Doesn't need to be that wide. Another way that you can feel abundant and luxurious and well off is by how much beauty you bring into your life. So you could say, okay, what do I value? I value art, and I am willing to forgo the Maserati to buy a beautiful painting, for example. Okay, to make sure it's not gluey. So it comes down to what you value. And for example, what you value might be peace and quiet. It might be being able to watch a sunset. It might be the beauty of a lakeshore in the morning in the summer. If you think about what you consider beautiful, for me, it's having a tidy home. That makes me feel rich. When my home is nice and clean, when it's pretty. Do you see what I mean? I like that. I really like that. Now, I want to put some kind of beachy sticker here. So let me get rid of all this stuff, which is a whack of papers. Throw that over there. Oh, I've got these stickers that I bought in Paris. See if anything works over here. That one is cool, but it's kind of meaningless. These are mostly Paris, Paris. This is Venice. I'm just not excited about the colors on those, but I do have others. Let's see if there's anything in here. These are little flower ones. See if there's anything that comes up looking like it's a little bit beachy. I like the butterflies, but they're not, so just give me a minute. So I have this little sticker book, or book of stickers. Live the Life You Love is pretty much what I'm talking about. And let's see if there's anything here that would work. There's not that much left in it. This is nice. Goes with my colors. I'll put that one in there. It's pretty beachy. I prefer a different shape, but I like that one. And let's see if there's anything. Oh, we've got all these little guys, which totally works. So let's get this out of the way and pop a few of these in. How about? So when it comes to feeling abundant and luxurious, it comes down to a feeling. So I was thinking, like, I've been on a few cruises. I used to be a travel agent. That got me going. And I'm more than ready to go on another one, but my husband doesn't want to. So I'm like, well, I could go with somebody else. I guess that one works. Should I put another one down here somewhere? I think that might be a little too much. Make it too fussy. Anyway, while I'm thinking about it, please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell, and so you get the notifications when I have a new video. And I'd love it if you'd leave a comment and click the like button as well. I think I will introduce this color into here just to sort of pull these two together, and this color is right in there, so that kind of works. So there's my page, and my conclusion is abundance and luxury is a feeling. So if you put your mind on what gives you that feeling, then you'll feel abundant and you'll feel like you have a life of luxury. And it doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be far away. It could be just sitting on your deck in the morning with your feet up and drinking coffee as the sun rises. And I'll see you next time.